Kashin Koji is currently the most important character in Boruto TBV VORTEX, and I'm afraid it isn't even remotely close. And if you questioned that before this chapter, then you probably agree with me now. Boruto has a role in this story. Actually, everybody does. And Koji knows everyone's role they have to play in order for the future to go according to plan. That's what we're going to be discussing in today's video. The future. The future of Kashin Koji, the future of Boruto, just the future of the story overall. So if you enjoy content like this and don't mind seeing more like this in the near future, go ahead and drop a like. So previously, Boruto made a specific deal with Momoshiki. This deal was for Boruto to give Momoshiki his body in exchange for power. And of course, he needs this power to defeat JURA, because at the current moment, absolutely nobody can defeat him as it currently stands. And that's something a lot of people may not understand. I view Kashin Koji as this all-knowing symbol in the story. He pretty much knows everything there is to know about what character is capable of doing what. Most recently, when Boruto and Kashin Koji got into their argument, what caused it was Koji asking Boruto to tell him about the deal he made with Momoshiki. And you might be thinking, maybe Koji already knows about it. I mean, it's not possible because he has clairvoyant powers. Besides that, there's a couple ways he could already know about this. One way is Boruto just telling Koji that he plans to chat with Momoshiki and propose some type of deal with him. You know, without revealing too much of the details, that way Koji would still feel the need to ask him about it to find out what the deal entailed. The other way is because of 10 directions, meaning Koji is already aware of the conversation between Boruto and Momoshiki because he visually seen the future where Boruto uses Momoshiki's power to combat JURA. So in this scenario, he would just want to make sure everything is going as planned. Now it could honestly be either one, but if you ask me what I think it's the latter. Koji already knows about Boruto and Momoshiki's deal. He's just genuinely asking him how it went. But right now, as you guys can see, Boruto is just being petty. He's not telling him any major details about the deal because he remembers Koji did the exact same thing to him back during the Tsunagakure mission, which is the whole reason he was mad at Koji for not telling him that Yoda was supposed to die. So he's just a little pissed off. But just think about it a little deeper here. If Koji knew that Boruto and the rest of Konoha could find a way to defeat JURA without Boruto making this deal, he would strongly advise against it and guide him towards another future. Kawaki, Sarada, DAEMON, Mitsuki, Himawari, nobody stands a chance against JURA at the current moment. And Ikimoto couldn't be any more clear in telling us this. So that just tells you how strong he is. Koji's basically saying to Boruto that there's no way we even have a chance if you can't use your karma, even with everyone's efforts working together. But if you have access to your karma, that would slightly tip the odds in our favor. But to use your karma, you have to go through Momoshiki. So it's up to Boruto to basically find a way for Momoshiki to give him this power, however he pleases. So that's Boruto's role that Koji made for him. Koji probably knows that Boruto and Momo came face to face and talked about the subject, but I don't think he knows about him literally offering up his body, which is why they had this altercation right here. So this is something that Koji might have to find out later, and how he reacts could be future altering as well. Whether he finds out through Boruto telling him or through his own visions of the future, he's gonna find out soon. But honestly, his reaction could surprise us. You see, Koji throughout the last 5 chapters of the story proved to us that he's a well-calculated man. He doesn't really take any risk unless absolutely necessary. And he's also willing to make the hard decisions if need be. So if there's a future where 2 people die or get seriously injured and another one where 3 people die or injured, he's gonna go with the one with the least deaths. In contrast to Boruto, who would desperately work to create a future where nobody dies. So that's why I say Koji doesn't have a problem sacrificing people if it's for the most favorable future. So there might be a chance that he's willing to let Boruto sacrifice himself if he sees a future where good things come out of it. You see, like I said in previous videos, Boruto's character was always about sacrifice. The reason we see such an extreme 180 in his attitude is because of Kashin Koji. Koji was the one who told Boruto about 2 years ago that there wouldn't be any future where he restored the Uzumaki household, at least with him in the picture. Because that's what the current threat of the Shinju call for. It calls for some type of sacrifice, and Boruto understood at the moment that a sacrifice may be needed to restore order on the planet. Since chapter 1, we've seen how this news affected Boruto. It made him more serious. Knowing his inevitable fate, he hasn't necessarily been in high spirits or hopeful that he would be able to get his life back. So we see how Koji affected Boruto mentally. In every growing day, we get closer to that day of sacrifice, no matter how it may take shape. Whether he's killed by Kawaki, forced to disappear, whatever. But little does Boruto know, there could possibly be a way out. I'm not just gonna talk about Boruto sacrificing himself and not mention a way he can get out of this current circumstance. At the end of the day, I want to see Boruto live, as do a lot of other people, including Boruto himself. And what I mean by that is Boruto has shown resistance to prescience, and slowly but surely, this resistance will turn into him breaking the timeline and altering his fate to another one. We first see it in chapter 15, when he discussed the Tsunagakure mission to Kawaki, which later was further explained in chapter 24. This was Boruto's first sign of rejecting fate, because it was already set in stone that he was supposed to die if he went to Tsunagakure. It was already a foregone conclusion, stamped in the future with no way out. He rejected his inevitable fate by creating his own fate in the form of Kawaki. And because of this new created timeline, he was able to save Konohamaru, because in the original timeline, Konohamaru was supposed to die by Matsuri. He's not supposed to be alive anymore. And you see how Boruto reacted when Koji told him, or didn't tell him, that Konohamaru was supposed to die. So this timeline was manifested because Boruto literally could not accept reality. He forged his own future through his own actions. And in its own way, this ability is even more overpowered than prescience itself. Since then, he grew even more unsettled. He didn't realize it yet, but this dark fate that Koji placed on him when they first met, he's rejecting it with his own mind, which proves his will to live even through his current state of being. My most recent video, I explained how because of Boruto and Koji's argument, this would affect the future enough for something to go horribly wrong. And this would manifest because Boruto doesn't trust Koji. And well, to put it bluntly, I still do think Boruto's trust in Koji took a big hit. And because of that, some things could go horribly wrong in the future. But the reason the future will change in the upcoming chapters isn't gonna be because Boruto doesn't trust Koji. It's gonna be because of Boruto psychologically not accepting the future, therefore unknowingly altering it. And that could be him not following Koji's orders, or doing something on his own free will that creates another timeline. It's just that simple. Now this isn't always a good thing, because Boruto can reject a future and that can result in a negative outcome. Like for example, when we're talking about futures and butterfly effects, because that does play a role in this current situation. If someone is destined to die, but Boruto gets in the way of that, there's a chance that their fate will get carried on to another person. Kashin Koji knows this. This is why he has no problem sacrificing people. He just picks and chooses who can be expended because of their value to the future. So in this next arc against Momoshiki, if Boruto saves someone that is supposed to die, like let's say Shikadai, him saving Shikadai could very well cause another person to die in his place. Or worse, it could cause Ada to get devoured. So in its logic, you exchange Ada's life for Shikadai. And I think we can all agree that Ada is way more important to the story than Shikadai. She's a singularity of fate, so she plays a direct role in the outcome of the future. But because Boruto didn't see this outcome, he wouldn't know this is what will transpire. And I only say this because I do think something like this will happen in the upcoming fight. That's why it's so important that Boruto puts his trust in Koji and what he's doing, because it could very well determine the survival of the planet. And this way of thinking from Boruto is also going to affect Momoshiki as well, because he made a deal with Momoshiki in exchange for his life. Essentially, Boruto's hidden will to live could alter the future yet again. It's already happened one time before. Back in chapter 66, he was ready for Kawaki to kill him. He wanted to die, by his hand. But once he got brought back to life, he regained that will to continue living. It wasn't only because the threat of Momoshiki's resurrection subsided, but it was also because Boruto's mind rejected his death, which is why he's directly opposing to be killed by Kawaki. So even though Koji's Shinjutsu already placed the Phantom of Death upon Boruto, Boruto has unknowingly altered his fate and created separate timelines because of his hidden will to live. It's happened before, and it's gonna happen more in the future until Boruto realizes that he has the ability to forge his own destiny. He doesn't have to follow prescience because he proved to create different futures through his power, his wit, and his will to survive. So this is what I'm really curious to hear from you all. I want to know how this new future is going to manifest for Boruto. I'm pretty sure we can all come together and collectively come to the conclusion that Boruto probably won't give Momoshiki his body. And there's multiple things that prove that, which includes the ending of the series when we see the final battle between Boruto and Kawaki. So what's going to happen to diverge that future where Boruto sacrifices himself? Is it the JOUGAN? Is it a manifestation of his will of fire? Or how about a change in the timeline due to his actions behind the scenes? Each theory holds the same merit, so there's no wrong answer. And I know because of me having a wide variety of supporters, everyone's gonna have a different opinion. So really, let me know what you're thinking. And I guess that's gonna be it for this one. This one's probably gonna be a bit short, but it's whatever. I just really wanted to chat with you guys, other than just making a plot-focused video. So I mean, if you enjoyed this video and wouldn't mind seeing more like this in the near future, go ahead and drop that like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications so you don't miss another video like this or when I go live for chapter spoilers. And until my next one, I'll see you boys and girls later, and I'm out. Peace.